Okay. We're looking forward to practice today to get back on track from a good victory for Oklahoma State, and our players were very excited. And we had meetings this morning and corrected mistakes from the last game, and talked about coming together this afternoon and getting ready for the next game, from the standpoint that we're going to play a very good football team that can score a lot of points and is very dangerous. And so the good side of that is I think our players understand that from watching tape last year. And obviously they played very well last Saturday, 2 nights ago, and should be able to stay focused and prepare well this week. But overall, it may have been one of the best days we've had here in a long time for everybody involved. There was a lot of people that had a lot of commitment to last Saturday's game. There was a lot on the line, and so it worked out well for all of us. But we've got to move forward now, so we're looking forward to playing a good football team. Obviously, everybody's aware of the quarterback and running back and receivers that they play with. They've been very successful. And from what we've seen on tape, they've improved on defense. They can run to the football. They've done a good job of bringing players in that can step in and help them immediately, in my opinion. And so we'll have to have a great week of preparation for Saturday's game. No questions?
How big is this game? I know it's big for a lot of reasons, but for recruiting, you got a lot of kids from Houston. How big is this in terms of recruiting?
Well, you know, we said this every week. They're all big now. We've had a number of players in the past and that are currently on our team from Houston that contribute to us having a lot of success here. And it'll always be important when we play teams from the state of Texas that we perform well. We've had a great recruiting season up to now. We don't have a lot of scholarships left, which is a good thing. But it is very important that we continue to play well and to develop and build this program to where we want it to be.
Can you compare offensively the start last season? Because I don't think you were totally happy with the way the offense played at Seattle, and then it kind of the second half of the Houston game was when it kind of clicked in and went off for the first time. Maybe the same thing. The offense didn't play as well in the opener with Georgia. Now here comes Houston again, and the offense is looking to play significantly better.
We were sloppy on offense in a lot of areas. We had too many penalties, which we'd give them free yards. We didn't block particularly well. We turned some guys loose on the quarterback. But we had skill players that stepped up and made plays. They're all mistakes that can be corrected. And as a coaching staff, we have to do a better job. You know, we went back and looked at it and feel like we put our players in a position that didn't give them a chance to have as much success as we thought. So we have to go back and look at ourselves and correct those mistakes as coaches, and then put together a game plan that we think our young men can go out and execute and play full speed.
Why do you think, Mike, that maybe it wasn't more anxiety on the defensive side of the ball after Georgia made that first 80-yard drive?
I'm not sure. I think that most team sports, the coach is going to be responsible for the actions of the players, and I think that Coach Young probably shows and gives them a feeling of confidence. And they probably look in the face of those defensive coaches, and that's the way they're going to react. I think is if coaches panic, then the players are going to panic. And he probably does a good job of staying pretty level-headed and making adjustments. And you can't change what's happened. All you think you can do is try to make it better the next play. And I think he does a good job of that, along with the other coaches. But ultimately, it all falls on him and the way that he handles himself with the coaches and the players, and then they'll build off of that. They're going to look in his eyes, and that's where they're going to get their confidence from.
Mike, you talked about the relief you felt after that game. What do you think about Coach Young? Because so many of us have built him up to be the savior. He says he doesn't want to.
I mean, Coach Young's like all of us as coaches. You know, we would prefer to just coach our players and not get caught up in everything. We don't. That's not something we look forward to, and he certainly doesn't. It's all we can do to get him to come to the media conferences, even though he's really good when he gets here. I mean, he knows that we have a ways to go on the defensive side of the ball here, and I think our players understand that. Our players played very well Saturday, but this will be a different challenge for them this week because of the style of play. And I think there's some relief with him. I think that's human nature with all of us. As I said earlier, I know that he had a lot invested in this because he's the new guy on the block, and we haven't played very well on defense here in a long time. And so when you bring a new guy in, all of a sudden people think, wow, you're going to fix all the problems instantly. And I think that he's corrected some mistakes, and I think that he's pulled the players together, and they're playing better. But we have a long way to go. It's a long season. So I think inside he would probably say that he feels relieved somewhat.
Various times you talked about responses you've gotten from across the country, different achievements in this program. Did the cell phone light up as much, and did you get as much reaction off of Saturday?
Well, I think we got a lot of reaction across the country. I'm not necessarily know if you're talking about from a media standpoint because I hadn't watched TV yeah. I mean, we get a lot of calls. There's a lot of calls, a lot of text messages that come in from people across the country. And when you play in a prime time like that, everybody sees you. And so people were excited and happy for us to have success. Coaches they go back for 20 years for me, and guys that I've played with, and there was a lot of former teammates and a lot of ex-players that show up, and I don't know how they get my cell number, but somehow they get it, and they text, which is good. But there were a lot of them that showed up and texted and said they were very happy that we were able to win a big game like that.
Afterwards, too, you talked about this next game being the hardest or most difficult. Explain what you're saying there.
Well, in college football, it's always going to be that way from here on out. And I think that you just scan the country from last Saturday, and you'll see teams that were supposed to win that didn't win. And for whatever reason, you have to prepare for the next one like it's the most important, or you make yourself susceptible to not playing as well as you should. And there's more parity ever now than there has been in college football. There's more guys that can make a play in space. And the way the clock runs, the 40-second clock, the forward pass, there's more room for a team that may not be physically as good as another, whoever it may be. It has nothing to do with Houston. That if one team doesn't perform well and turns the ball over and the other team doesn't, they have a great chance to win the game. So the next game has to be the most important. And as a coaching staff and a team, we're responsible for letting the Georgia game go and then getting focused on the next one. Coming out of the stadium after the game, there's people everywhere around here. I mean, I'm sure that the local owners in the community benefited greatly from what happened. And the next morning, there's people everywhere, and you can't find anywhere to eat. And so all those things work to your favor, but also you've got to let it go and get back on track the next day.